our timeless connection with prophets and prophecies. It is our nature to want to know what the future holds. From the moment we first begin to inhabit this earth in human form, we've believed that forewarned is forearmed, and we've sought out those who seem to have a clearer view of the road ahead than we do. On a small scale, we don't want to get caught in the rain without an umbrella, but we also wouldn't mind knowing whether or not we should save that rainwater for an upcoming drought or man-made crisis. On a much larger scale, we want to know that we personally, we as a community, we as a faith, as a society, as a nation, or as a surprisingly fragile planet, are going to be okay. And more to the point, what okay is going to look like. We look to prophets and prophecies not just for warnings, but also for hope and for comfort, no matter how far in the distance it might be. And because we've been fooled before, and/or not paying attention, and/or too naive or greedy, or in too much of a hurry to always rely on our own judgment, we explore prophecies in search of a blueprint for discerning the real from the counterfeit, the truth from the lies, the heroes from the villains, meaningful road signs from time and soul-wasting detours, and probably most essential of all, the genuinely God-centered from the countless clever pretenders. The cultural bond of prophecy. One of the countless aspects of prophets and prophecies that has always fascinated me is that they've always been traditional and fundamental to civilizations throughout the world. Even the most ancient, isolated cultures who had no interest or means of communicating with each other. It's not as if the Aborigines of Australia heard that predicting the long-range future had become very popular among American Indians and decided to give it a try, or the Mayans only started coming up with these prophecies so they wouldn't be outdone by those Egyptian prophets they kept hearing about. Cultures tend to express the most deep-rooted essences of their people, and each of these cultures, so vastly different in so many ways, has demonstrated, separately and together, that we're eternally united as human beings around the world in our insistence that the future is knowable. Of course the future is knowable, and I'll explain shortly exactly why that is. That fact alone, and our universal agreement that it's true, should bring us more peace than it does. Who's good at and bad at foreseeing the future, and which information is accurate and which isn't, is almost beside the point when it comes to simply appreciating how dearly held our global yearning to look ahead really is. It would be impossible to explore the prophecies of every culture that ever existed, or that exists today, but I want to highlight just a few, hoping that as you hear about them, you'll focus on the respectful purity of spirit at their core, no matter what corner of the world they came from. The American Indians. The many tribes of the Native American nations each have their own distinct language, customs, and cherished legacy of prophecies. But even their prophecies reflect their reverence for this earth and our essential spiritual connection to it, without which humankind can't and won't survive. One of the most beautiful examples is an excerpt from a Lakota prophecy. It refers to the Star People, whom many tribes believe to be their ancient extraterrestrial ancestors, and to the Sacred Mother, who is the Earth. It says, "In the next decade, the Star People that you call meteorites will come to this Earth in answer to the Mother's call for help. You see, we are all relations. So the Star People are beings, they are planets, and the other bodies in the heavens as well. The Sacred Mother is screaming for life, and the meteorites will hear her cries and answer her call for help. They will hit the earth from the heavens with such force that many internal things will happen as well as external. The earth will move as a result of the impact. This will cause the sacred fire that is the source of all life to the Mother to move through her body. The rains will change their fall, and the winds will alter their course, and what has existed for 300 years will no longer exist. And where there is summer, there will be fall, and where there is fall, there will be winter, and where there is winter, there will be spring. The animals and plants will become confused. There will be great plagues that you do not understand. Many of these plagues are born from your scientists, whose intentions have gone awry. Your scientists have let these monsters loose upon the land. These plagues will spread through your waters and through your blood and through your food because you have disrupted the natural chain through which your mother cleanses herself. Only those who have learned to live on the land will find sanctuary. Go to where the eagles fly, to where the wolf roams, to where the bear lives. Here you will find life, because they will always go to where the water is pure and the air can be breathed. Live where the trees, the lungs of this earth, purify the air. There is a time coming beyond the weather. The veil between the physical and the spiritual world is thinning. And this came from brave Buffalo of the Brule Sioux Nation. It is time for the great purification. We are at a point of no return. The two-legged are about to bring destruction to life on earth. It's happened before, and it's about to happen again. The sacred hoop shows how all things go in a circle. The old becomes new, the new becomes old. Everything repeats. White people have no culture. Culture is having roots in the earth. People without culture don't exist very long because nature is God. Without a connection to nature, the people drift, grow negative, destroy themselves. In the beginning, we had one mind, and it was positive, a thing of beauty, seeing beauty everywhere. The Aborigines. Half a world away from the American Indians, and very probably unaware of their existence, the Australian Aborigines are thought to have been on this earth for more than 18,000 generations. From their ancient beginnings, they've been nomadic hunters and gatherers, traveling and living in clans, orally passing their culture and traditions along from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. They revere nature and their elders. They're intensely connected to both the practical and the spiritual sides of their lives, and they embrace a gorgeous mythology called Dreamtime that lies at the heart of their belief system. The Dreamtime, which is woven through Aboriginal lives in a variety of daily applications, is at its core their treasured account of that time when their spirit ancestors moved through the bare, unsanctified land and gave it its physical form and its sacred laws. Dreamtime is a tangible reality of the Aboriginal past, present, and future. It isn't something that happened a very long time ago and was completed. It's an ongoing consciousness and responsibility with tragic consequences if it's ignored. A prophecy from an Australian Aboriginal tribal elder named Gubu Ted Thomas, orally preserved until it was committed to writing, reflects their profoundly simple faith. I was in Dreamtime. I see this great wave going. I tell people about this wave. It wasn't a tidal wave. This was a spiritual wave. So to me, I believe that Dreamtime is going to be that. I believe the revival is going to start in Australia when we're dreaming. It's the hummingbee that I'm talking about. And love. We've got to learn to love one another. You see, that's really what's going to happen to the earth. We're going to have tidal waves. We're going to have earthquakes. That's coming because we don't consider this land as our mother. We've taken away the balance, and we're not putting back. I look at the bush, and those trees are alive. They're not dead. They're alive, and they want you to cuddle them. The Incas. Thousands of miles from the American Indians and the Australian Aborigines, the ancient Inca civilization evolved on the South American continent. The origins of the Incas are a mystery, primarily recorded through the oral legacy of a people whose world was destroyed and whose vast wealth was pirated by Spanish conquistadors in 1532. At its most powerful, the Inca